Hi, I'm Janet Wilson, Executive Director for the DeLand Area Chamber of Commerce and Orange City Alliance. And recently we had the opportunity to come down to the Museum of Art DeLand and speak with Pattie Pardee, Executive Director, about the 70th anniversary of the museum. Today I'm here at the Museum of Art DeLand with Executive Director Pattie Pardee. It is the 70th anniversary of the DeLand Museum, and we are so pleased to be here today and so excited to share this moment and this milestone with you.
Thank you.
So could you tell us a little bit of a brief history of the museum?
Absolutely. The museum was established in 1951 by the American Association of University Women as the DeLand Children's Museum. In 1965, they reorganized as the DeLand Museum of Art. And then in 2006, they became the Museum of Florida Art, which sort of reflected the focus on what they were showing and collecting at the time. In 2013, the museum board and membership voted to reorganize as the Museum of Art DeLand, which reflected the focus on more national and international exhibitions and programs. In 2013, the museum leased this building from the city of DeLand, in addition to our building at 600 North Woodland Boulevard, which is our main campus. So we established our presence here in 2013, and the museum has actually had 4 different homes since 1951. So in 1991, they moved into the Cultural Arts Center, and that's where we've been until we also expanded here.
So we know that you're a community visual arts museum. Can you explain the museum's mission?
The purpose of the museum was to promote the cultural growth of the citizens of DeLand. And I think that is still really at the heart of the organization's mission, except that we've expanded that mission to include regional, statewide, and also national educational programs for visitors and residents alike.
So what type of educational programming is available through the museum, and can you give us some examples?
2020 took a toll on our educational programs. We continue to have regular exhibitions. We were open for the most part for 2020, except for the mandatory shutdown in March. However, as far as classes and having people gather in large groups, we weren't able to do that. We limited audiences to a certain number for gallery talks, but in a good year, we offer adult workshops, classes for children. One of the things that we were able to continue was the Family Fun Saturday program, which is the 3rd Saturday of each month. Both locations are open and free to the public, and when we're able to gather together, the children come in for hands-on activities related to the exhibits. So right now we've switched to packets that children take home to do activities at home with their families. But we're planning to start having larger gatherings in April. We have a gallery talk in April 16th, and we are, for the first time in a year, not limiting the audience. We still require masks, but this will be an experiment to see how that goes.
So you mentioned that the museum over the years has expanded. How has that enhanced the organization?
With each move and every expansion, the museum has been able to expand its reach, to improve its programming, and to just generally grow as an organization. For over the 70-year period, we've gone from strictly a children's museum to being a fine arts museum. And I think that's something to be proud of. We're definitely moving forward with every change. And here we are today, and the future holds exciting things as well.
So how many galleries do you have here at the museum, and do you have a permanent collection as well?
Between the 2 locations, we have 8 galleries. We have a wonderful permanent collection with over 500 pieces, and we're starting to use the galleries at 600 North Woodland Boulevard to actually showcase our permanent collection, rather than just keeping it in the vault. So we're doing that, and we're using this location at 100 to bring in our exhibitions that come from collectors, galleries, and other museums.
So what have been your most successful exhibits
Oh, I would have to say the MC Escher exhibit in 2018 was probably our most successful because of the name recognition. And then in 2020, we had the Kirsty Mitchell photographs, which was just an incredible show. And then I would think after that, probably the John Mellencamp exhibit in 2014. Not only is he a musician, but he's also a really good artist. So I think those were our top 3 in recent history, and people really enjoyed those.
So how is the museum funded?
Our funding comes from several different sources. About 25% of it comes from individual contributions. 20% approximately is government grants through state and local grants. I would have to say also our retail here at this store and also at the location at 600 brings in about 25% of our revenue. The rest comes from membership and fundraisers. Fundraising last year certainly was much lower than it had been in the past, but we're hopeful for 2021.
So what would you say the social emotional responsibility is of the museum as it strives to be part of the vital part of the community here?
I definitely think inclusion is probably one of the things that we work hardest at to provide for everyone. We strive to be culturally, socioeconomically, and culturally diverse in our programming and in our exhibitions. So I think that's really what we have to offer, cultural experiences for anybody. I think if we fail, it's certainly not through our programs. I think it's very difficult to get the word out to reach the very audiences that we would like to reach. And we're working on that.
So in your opinion, what is it that makes the Museum of Art DeLand stand out?
We are actually a fine arts museum. We bring in exhibitions that are nationally and internationally important in the contemporary art world. And while people may not recognize exhibits and artists that we have by their name, so for instance, the MC Escher show brought in lots of people because people know that name. Mellencamp, the same. But what people don't understand is the lesser known artists that they may have never heard of, that they come in and see, are the giants of the contemporary art world of the future. So I think that's really what we have to offer. We're very selective in what we show, and every exhibit is put together thoughtfully and with our mission in mind.
So you do an incredible job here at the museum of all the wonderful things that you bring to the community. How do you expand that outside, that experience outside of the museum?
Well, we have a wonderful public arts program. So the DeLand Sculpture Walk is part of that, the miniature art program, the utility box wrap. We have the historic, the legendary Florida collection at the historic courthouse just across the way. We're one of the sponsors of the Fall Festival of the Arts. So we do an awful lot of outreach into the community. One of the other things that we do outside is our outreach educational programming. We offer programs to 15 Head Start classrooms in West Volusia County, and also at Stark Elementary School. And those programs are year-long. They're free of charge to the partnering organizations, and that is also one of the ways we are able to do outreach and expand our audience. Because one of the things we try to do is get them when they're small, get them into the museum, and you know, then suddenly they're lifelong museum goers.
One thing that 2020 and this pandemic had really brought to mind was the appreciation of all the enriching experiences that we have sometimes right here in our backyard. So it's important to get out and take advantage of that, whether you live here, whether you're visiting in the area. So how can someone find out more about the museum? Maybe go online?
Yeah, our website is wonderful. It's moartdeland.org. You should find everything you need to know there. If not, there's contact information. Please call me. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So it has been our pleasure and honor to sit down with you today and to talk a little bit more about the Museum of Art DeLand. And you've been here for about 9 years now, so we want to say congratulations for all the great things that you have brought to our community. We've had a chance to talk about the past, the present, and the future. And what you bring to that is amazing. So thank you so much for that. And be sure to come down to downtown DeLand and shop at the museum store. Thank you so much, and we hope you enjoyed this interview today.
Thank you, Janet.